Coming up on today's show.
First of all, I want to start way ahead of time. That's really the key with moving, and I realize that it's not always possible to do that.
Moving is just kind of an overall stressful thing, but, it's one of those things I know that you guys at Organizers Northwest do a lot of with your clients.
You're going to make mistakes. There are going to be things that don't go to the right place, but you can preemptively eliminate that a lot by having what we call box lists.
Getting organized for a move, packing and unpacking, today on Keeping You Organized. Hello and welcome to Keeping You Organized. Today we are going to talk about the move. Now, some people move 2 or 3 times in their lifetime, others stay in the same place, but almost all of us are involved in a move at some point in our life. So we're going to talk about that process from start to finish, and we're going to bring on Veronica Bishop from Organizers Northwest. Veronica, welcome to Keeping You Organized.
Thank you, John.
Well, now packing and unpacking and moving, moving is just kind of an overall stressful thing, but, it's one of those things I know that you guys at Organizers Northwest do a lot of with your clients. So let's kind of deconstruct, just so we can make people not seem so overwhelmed about what's involved in a move and maybe talk about, the front end and the back end of it.
That sounds good.
So where do we start? I come into your office and you say, I got to move.
Well, we, first of all, want to start way ahead of time. That's really the key with moving. And I realize that it's not always possible to do that. But the more time you have, the less stressed out you'll be on moving day. So that starts with purging. It just doesn't make sense to move things from one place to another. And some people do it over and over and over again. They have boxes that they've just never unpacked. So you're just moving things that you're not using. So really that process of decluttering before the move is really critical.
What if you went into a client and they had a box in their basement that was actually from a previous move, never got opened, and they say, well, I want to move this to the new house. Do you have any advice for them on that?
Well, if I was working with them, I would open it myself and force them to go through it.
Yeah.
No, we don't force people to do anything, but I would really encourage them to go through it, because probably if they haven't used it in the last 6 months, they don't actually need it. And that's actually a really good indicator. If you haven't opened a box since your last move, it's likely something that you don't want and don't need. So give yourself permission to let it go. That's a good,
That's a good start, right? So after you do kind of this general decluttering, kind of purging of the obvious stuff, there's still a lot of stuff that we got to pack up and get to the new location. And is there like a good strategy on how to do that?
Yeah, so we have a lot of good strategies that we use with our clients. Labeling is obviously really important in terms of making kind of packing with purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing to think about is not the house that you're in currently, but the house that you're going to. Most of us, when we pack according to where they are now.
Mm-hmm.
And, you may lose 1,000 square feet, you may gain 1,000 square feet. So your new location is going to be completely different. So really strategizing about where you want things to go. Sorry.
Someone's already really excited about getting ready to move, right?
Yeah, the phones are ringing.
Yeah.
So just really thinking about the new location, where things are going. So if you have a basement and you didn't have one before, instead of just dumping everything you don't know where to put in the basement, really thinking ahead of time about where you want those things to go and packing like items together. Now,
do you start off with a spreadsheet of rooms or a list of rooms, and kind of as you're packing on one side say, well, you maybe you're in the living room and the one thing goes into the living room of the new house, but it goes into the garage of the other house or some of the stuff, how do you kind of process through that?
You're going to make mistakes. There are going to be things that don't go to the right place, but you can preemptively eliminate that a lot by having what we call box lists.
Okay.
So you have each box gets a number, and then on a piece of paper, you write that number and you write the contents of the box so that you know kind of where everything went. And there's a lot less stress on the other end when there's a specific thing you're looking for, such as the coffee maker, which is the number one thing that people are like, where's the coffee maker? So making sure that you know exactly where things are just eliminates the stress on the other end.
Now with the coffee maker, don't you actually just hand carry that in? I mean, it's such a precious item that you wouldn't want to put that in a box, would you?
You'd think so, but people tend to pack it because it's fragile, and
Yeah.
then there I've seen more than one person frantically searching for the coffee maker.
Right. Well, now I've heard too from other people that sometimes, you'll have this like essentials box. Maybe it's, maybe it has the coffee maker and, 2 or 3 plates and a couple, just enough to kind of the emergency box. Do you
Yeah.
propose anything like that?
Yeah, we recommend using a suitcase for that because
Okay.
the suitcases need to get packed, and you can put clothes, pretend you're going away for a weekend stay. So you have enough clothes for 2 or 3 days in case you don't get to your clothes by then. Things like toilet paper, paper towel, Clorox wipes, garbage bags. Those are the things that you get there and you think, we don't have any garbage bags, and you end up having to run out. So that really is super helpful. And if they're in the suitcase, it's easy to see and easy to find, throw it in the car, and that's the first thing you take out. So that's a great idea.
Back to this point of kind of decluttering, do you work with your clients and say, look at that sofa right there. It's, 82 inches long, and in your new place, that may not fit? Or do you kind of not get into the interior design or furniture reusability issues?
No, we do think about that because especially something like a couch, I mean, you're paying to move it, so you
Yeah.
better want it.
Yeah.
So measuring the new place, having blueprints handy, and really, thinking about style as well. Does this fit with our new style? It might be the perfect opportunity to buy a new couch if you're kind of done with it and it doesn't seem like it's going to fit. So, yeah, really thinking purposefully about all those things, and that goes, for every item in the house. Really thinking, is this something I want in my new place? That's huge.
Okay. Well, listen, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about this getting ready, the packing side of moving, and maybe even some packing tips. So we're with Veronica Bishop from Organizers Northwest talking about that move and how to really get ready for it. And we're also going to talk about what happens on the other side, too, when you get to your new place. We'll be back in just a moment. Now there's a place just for you. Life can be busy, and you still have to keep it all together. That's why you like to be organized and in control. Introducing MyOrganized.life, a special place where you can get ideas and solutions to organize what's important to you, your important papers, your important decisions, your important life events. We show you the ideas and products to stay organized in your life. See what's new. Stop by and say hello. Visit us at any time at www.myorganized.life. It's just for you. MyOrganized.life by Smead. Find us at www.myorganized.life. MyOrganized.life. We are back now on Keeping You Organized, talking about the big move. You've finally decided to move out of that place you're in now into someplace else, and there's several things you got to do. So we're talking right now about packing like a pro, getting ready to move on out. And we've got Veronica Bishop from Organizers Northwest. Veronica, so we've kind of decluttered. We've gotten rid of some of the stuff we don't want to move, but now we got to actually get stuff in boxes. Is there a technique for that, or what do you guys suggest?
Oh man, I have so many techniques. Let's see. Clothing is a great tip for packing clothing is to take black garbage bags, and if it's hanging, you just pull it up over the clothes, over a section of, you can do maybe 20 hangers at a time, and tie the top around the top of the hangers, and then you can easily transport your clothing without having to take it off of the hangers. We like that one. Or you can also purchase garment hanger boxes, if you get your boxes from the moving store. We really recommend using small boxes for books. They actually make a box that's called a book box, and they're just the smallest size, and they're great for moving books, or at least, if not that, the smallest box, the next size up, because they're just so hard to move around. So, and small boxes in general are really useful for heavier things, because the heavier, the more that's in there, it's harder to lift. And whether it's you or the movers doing that work,
Right.
it makes a big difference. And then big boxes for lighter items.
Yeah, no, I noticed that some people will hire packers to do it, and others will want to do it themselves. If they do it themselves, where are good places to get boxes?
Well, any storage facility actually will carry boxes. Not necessarily a moving company, but they'll have an office. Each storage facility will have an office where they sell boxes and tape. So that's a good place. Home Depot carries them. Those big, big stores carry them.
Yep.
And also we recommend paper tape. It's a sort of brown paper colored, and instead of that sort of clear plastic stuff with the giant
Yep.
dispenser and it's always coming off, the paper tape you can tear off really easily.
Right.
You can stick it in your pocket. We recommend having an apron with pockets in it, so you can put your Sharpie, your tape. That's what we do when we're on a packing job. Have everything really at your fingertips so that you're not constantly forgetting where you put it down.
Yeah, and talking about, I'm sure you've worked with packing companies before too that have packed for your clients. What are some of the little tips and tricks that they do that make it look really easy?
Well, in my experience with packing, when movers pack, because of the liability issues, they have to pack everything as they find it. So they're not going to pack the way a professional organizer would pack with, putting things together. They'll pack things as they find them, as long as they fit together in the box. And I've seen, garbage trash cans that are full of trash. They'll pack the trash.
Oh, wow.
So you really want to.
That's not a good tip.
Don't pack the trash.
Yeah.
So you really want to, if you are hiring someone, the movers, to pack for you, make sure you're aware of that and take the garbage out. If there are loose things in a little bowl, bits of jewelry or something like that, make sure you put it in a bag, because they're not going to do that for you. They'll pack it as it is. And so that's something to be aware of.
Like, how about the packing materials that, like, for fragile things, do you recommend a bubble wrap or paper and wrapping it up many times? What would be some of the things that you would see for that?
Yeah, bubble wrap is good. I've actually used paper plates in between plates. So you do a plate and then a paper plate, and then, and that buffers them between each one. And then you wrap the whole stack in some newspaper or whatever you're using. You can actually buy, packaging sets for China and things like that. Yeah, I mean, old newspapers are great. And again, this is the idea of planning ahead of time and really being prepared for the move. You can start to kind of save all that stuff up,
Right.
You can even use T-shirts to pack, breakable things.
Right. I had a friend of ours actually went on Craigslist and found boxes that someone else, and some packing stuff that someone else was using from their move. And, it wasn't as good a condition, but it still got the job done.
And I've done that for my clients that don't have a pickup service after an unpack. We'll stage the boxes, break them down, and then post something on Nextdoor or Craigslist, and someone will come and pick them up. That's a really great way to get rid of your used boxes. And it's environmentally the best.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit more. Is there anything else on the packing side before we venture even out the door into the new place?
Well, one final thing I'd say is large clear storage bins are really great for when you're packing your garage and you've got a lot of different small pieces. Packing things together in a large clear storage bin is great because they're easy to move. If you're going to put it into a cardboard box, you may as well put it into a clear plastic bin. And then when you are unpacking, it's very easy to put away in your new garage.
Right. Okay. Well, listen, I think we're just about out of time for our podcast, and we haven't even got to the new place. So what I want to do is invite you back on our next episode, and we'll talk about the unpacking. So, but the time between this one and next one will be the drive. But before we go, can you just kind of tell us a little bit about Organizers Northwest and how people can get a hold of you?
Sure. Well, Organizers Northwest is based in Portland, Oregon, and you can call us at 503-245-3564, or you can email us, and there's a link to email in our website, which is organizersnw.com.
Great. Well, Veronica, can't wait to get to the new place, and we'll unpack it on the next episode. And so, folks, if you're in that move mode right now, at least get all packed up and come back next time when we unpack everything at our new place on the next edition of Keeping You Organized.